Hi and welcome to Geeks for Geeks. Can I have a quick +1 in the chat if I'm visible as well as equally audible? And my audio should be absolutely fine, otherwise I would be correcting the audio. But I hope it should be fine today because I have invested a lot of time in this. Let me just check my audio. Okay, thanks a lot. My audio is absolutely fine as I can observe from my preview screen. So let me just refresh the screen so that I start receiving the text from the people. Okay, so let's start then. Okay, fair enough. So let's start with today's problem of the day, that is handshake. And this problem appeared in Amazon, and this has a quite a good success percentage, that is 59%, and this is a medium level problem. Now let us move forward and understand the problem statement. So we have n persons sitting on a round table. A person can do handshake with any other person. So person, suppose there are 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 people standing there. Suppose one is doing the handshake with 2, one is doing the handshake with 4, one is doing the handshake with 3. Of course, he can't do a handshake with himself. He would need to do. The handshake with 3 and 4 will cause cross. Now what is this cross? Now suppose there is 1, there is 4 and there is 2 and there is 3. Now suppose one is doing the handshake with 4 and 2 is doing the handshake with 3. Now this is forming a cross, but it is told that we need to find how many ways these n people can make handshakes so that no two handshake cross each other, so that there should not be a condition like this or a condition like this. So they shouldn't be intersecting each other basically. This is the proper term used. Okay, and n should be even, obviously, because we need a other person. Okay, why? Because see, suppose there is 1 and there is 2 and there is 3. So it can't be the case that 1 is doing a handshake with 3 and 2 is also doing a handshake with 3. Okay, this shouldn't be the case. Now let us move to the sample test case. Now suppose we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, and we have, sorry, we can't draw this, sorry about that. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 itself. Okay, so let's just copy it so that we can paste it. Yeah, now suppose there can be a case where 1 is doing a handshake with 2 and 4 is doing a handshake with 3. Okay, now let us take one more test case. Now let us take one more test case and we would be able to differentiate. Now suppose it might be the case that 2 and 4 are doing a handshake with each other. Okay, and 1 and 3 is doing a handshake with it. Okay, but in the drawing of ours it can be the case that it is like this. Okay, in the explanation, okay, just sorry, I forgot to paste. Yeah, now let's paste, let's make it here, and now we can say that in the drawing of ours we can have the handshake like, okay, so there are two possible ways. One where 1 is doing the handshake with 2 and 4 is doing a handshake with 3, and then 1 is doing a handshake with 2 and 3 is doing a handshake with 4 itself. This is what we can do. Okay, so even if you draw it differently, you won't have any issue regarding the number of count. Why? Because you don't need to show the number of pairs in which they are making the handshake. Rather, you just need to tell the count of it, and the count of it won't be affected according to the ordering that you have made it. Okay, so let me just refresh the screen Okay, so there are a lot of viewers at the moment, so can you please increase the like counter, okay, if possible. Now let us start with the first one. Now suppose there is only 1 and 2. If there is only 1 and 2, then there is only one option, that these two would handshake with each other. Now so let's write whatever we are getting. For 2 we are telling that there is only one way. Okay, now for 1 there is no way, and it is told that n would always be even. N would be even. Okay, fair enough. Now suppose we have 3. 3 is not possible, so we can have 1, 2, 3 and 4. For the test case 4, we have already seen that the answer is 2. Okay, so for the test case 4, the answer is 2. We already know that, and we have seen that right. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and then 1 and 3, 2 and 4. What is the possibility for 6? Okay, fair enough. We are moving towards 6. 5 won't be given because n is even. Then we have 1, okay, then 2, okay, then 3, then 4, and then 5, 6, okay. 2 numbers this side, 2 numbers this side. Now let's take the 6 only, or let's take this 4. Okay, so now if I just say that 4 is doing a handshake with 3, so let me just copy it. Okay, just copy it. Okay, fair enough. Now let me just make it this side because it is having a large number. Okay, yeah. Now suppose 4 is doing a handshake with 3. Now it is, the number left is 4. 4 this side, and 4 and 3 this side. So we can say that if 4 is doing a handshake with 3, we have 4 other options, and they need to handshake with each other without crossing each other. And the way by the remaining 4 numbers would handshake each other without crossing each other is 2. We know that. So by this we come to the conclusion that there are 2 ways. Okay, now let's take one more. Okay, one more way. Now it might be the case that 4 is doing a handshake with 2, but if this is the case, then 3 would be left, and 3, if it handshakes with 5, it would do a cross. If handshakes with 6, it would do a cross. If it does a handshake with 1, it would also be a cross. Fair enough. This is why this is not possible. So he needs to handshake with 1. Okay, so 4 needs to do a handshake with 1. If 4 does a handshake with 1, then this side 2, this side 2. Okay, this side 2 and this side 2. So we know that this side multiplied by this side, the ways that we can form in this side, multiplied with the number of ways that we can form this side, and the middle one won't be able to change. We know that. So 1 into 1 is equals to 1. So we would say that this is 1 itself. Okay, now suppose again we move to the cursor, and then we come to this one, and then we see that suppose 4 is making a handshake with 6. This is also not possible. Why? Because this side 3 would be left, and this side 1 would be left, which is not possible because 5, suppose this is the case itself. So 5 is left this side. So if it can't make a handshake with this, it can't make a handshake with this, it can't make a handshake with this. This is also not possible. Okay, then okay, then let's just paste again. Okay, now let us say that 4 is doing a handshake with 5. If 4 is doing a handshake with 5, again the similar case would occur, that 5 and 4 would be able to handshake with each other, and that side the other 4 needs to handshake within each other. Fair enough. This is what you need to do. And this side we already know that for 4 the answer is 2. So we would add this 2 to the answer. Okay, so 4 can do a handshake with these all types. Okay, so 2 plus 1 plus 2. So for the number 6, the number of handshake would be 5 itself. Okay, now tell me if this thing is clear or not. If till this point this is clear, then we would move forward to build up a solution. Okay, how the solution is built, that is of absolute importance. Okay, what is the solution, that is of no importance. How the solution is built, that is of absolute importance. Quickly tell me how the solution is built. Can I have a quick +1 so that I know that when I need to move forward? And these are all the possible cases for the number 6 itself. Okay, so tell me, can I move forward? Okay, let's have an upper bound to this waiting, otherwise I would need to wait endlessly. So 0 point. I didn't get the 1 and 4. Okay, fair enough. Do that. Suppose, suppose, let's just erase it. We explain again. No problem. That's absolutely not a problem. Okay. Now suppose we have this, and 1 and 4 wants to handshake. So now suppose 1 and 4 is doing a handshake with each other. Now 2 can handshake with not 6. Why? This would form a cause. Okay, this would form a cross. 2 cannot form a handshake with 5. Why? This would also form a cross. And then 3 can't do a handshake with 6. Why? This would form a cross. Okay, let's draw it. Okay, so if 2's form a handshake with 6, it is forming a cross. This is not possible. 3 is forming a handshake with 6. This is also not possible. 3 is forming a handshake with 5. This is also not possible. 2 is forming a handshake with 5. This is also not possible. Now let's take the case of 6 also. If 6 is doing a handshake with 2, this is not possible. If 6 is doing a handshake with 6 is doing a handshake with 3, this is also not possible. So if 5 is doing a handshake with 5, 2, this is also not possible. If 5 is doing a handshake with 3, this is also not possible. Okay, that is why there is forming a cross between them. So we can say that we need to build up the handshake between this. Suppose एक फैमिली में लड़ाई हुआ है, इस फैमिली में भी लड़ाई हुआ है, और इसके बीच में एक दीवार है जिसको इस फैमिली के लोग इस फैमिली में नहीं आ सकते. अब क्या होगा, अगर इस फैमिली के लोग यहाँ पे नहीं जा सकते, उनके पास एक ही ऑप्शन है कि आपस में भारत मिलाप कर ले और साथ में रहे, क्योंकि वो लोग इस साइड से उस साइड तो जा नहीं सकते हैं. दिस इज नॉट एन ऑप्शन. So if going from this side to this side is not an option, then they need to do the settlement among themselves. अगर do the settlement among themselves होगा तो इस side multiplied by this side. Why? Because suppose there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for 4, I can say that 4 can match with 1, 4 can match with 2, 4 can match with 3. Okay, so एक के लिए 3, 5 can match with 1, 5 can match with 2, 5 can match with 3. Okay, 6 can match with 1, 6 can match with 2, 6 can match with 3. So this is how I can tell that the number of matching pairs are 3 into 3, and same thing goes for this also. For 2, the number of pairs are 1, because we already know that, and for this 2 also the number of pairs is 1 only. So 1 multiplied by 1 is equals to 1 only. That is why we are adding the term 1 to it. Now tell me if this thing is clear or not. I have tried each and every possible way to solve an issue. Thanks a lot, Coder Bro. Sanjeev and Bhargav Reddy. Did you understand this? Now tell me, did you understand or not? Please. I would be more than happy to wait, but just clear my doubt. Thanks a lot, Patidana. Okay, so now this is done. So now let's just see. Okay, let's just copy this and let's see. तो यहाँ पे रख दिया. Now let's solve for the 6 only. Okay, let's solve for the 6 only. Suppose we have 2, we have 5, and we have 6. So if 1 is doing a handshake with 2, and this side it is 4, and this side it is 0, this side it is 4, this side it is 0. Okay, so if 1 is doing a handshake with 2, then we need to have whatever, suppose let's just say value of I. So value, so total is equals to, so let's just say total is equal to number of ways of 4. Okay, so total of 4, okay, let's say the value of 6 is equals to value of 6 is equal to value of 4 multiplied by value of 0. This is the first one. Now we would get added. This time 1 is making a pair with 3, which is not possible, and now 1 is making a pair with 4. What this is? This is what? 2 into 2, value of 2 into value of 2. So this is what? Value of 2 multiplied with the value of 2. Okay. Now again 1 can't make a pair with this. 1 can make a pair with 6. If 1 makes a pair with 6, then this is what? Value of 0 multiplied with value of 4. Then this would be value of 0 multiplied with value of 4. Okay. Now just observe these all terms. This is 6, this is 4, this is 0, this is 2, this is 2, this is 0, this is 4. एक आराम से एक AP दिखेगा. We can see a AP. Okay, we can see a AP. What is this AP? The first one is 4. Okay, the second one is n, which is 2, and the third one is 0. So we can see that for this side it is 4, 2, 0. Okay, for this side 0, 2 and 4, 0, 2 and 4. ओके, सो एक यहाँ पर डिक्रीज हो रहा है, यहाँ पे यहाँ पे डिक्रीज हो रहा है, और इस साइड पे यहाँ पे डिक्रीज हो रहा है, और इस साइड पे इंक्रीज हो रहा है 0 to 4. ओके, तो इतना तो समझ में आ गया. ओके, जॉइंट लेट, कैन यू प्लीज गिव अ ब्रीफ एक्सप्लेनेशन टू लर्न? Just bear it for a moment of time, as this explanation is kind of going towards the end. So I would give you a brief revision of what I told. Okay, so एक तो दिख रहा है. If we have 6, then we have 4, 2, 0, then we have 0, 2 and 4. Okay, एक दिख रहा है. अब the value of 0 should be 0, but an empty set is also counted like in Catalan number, but empty set is also counted in Catalan number, but you can also take it in this way, that the value of n is from 1 to 30. So 0 is not present. So agar if we make this value is 1, then this won't affect the answer. Why? Because multiplying anything with 1 would make it 1 itself, because x multiplied with 1 would make it x only. Okay, so no major difference. Okay, it doesn't create any major difference. That is why we can say that we can have. So till now this all is absolutely very important. Okay, now we can see that we can have something like this. We can have a dp of n plus 1. Why? Because if it is 0 index, then suppose we have declared a value of 5, then it would be 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. But we want the index 5 to operate. Okay, so we need the index 5. So एक dp array बना लेंगे, and then we start calculating. And to simplify your understanding, you can first implement the recursive solution. But yesterday I gave a little bit intuitive solution which was easy to understand, but people started asking me that this is not the intended solution. That is why today I am giving the most optimized solution because of yesterday. So dp of 0 should be told as 1. This is what you need to do. Now we need to calculate from 2, 4, 6. What you need, this is to be done. We are doing the same thing. 2 plus I plus 2. This would be journeying from, suppose the given value is 8. This would be 2, 4, 6. Okay. Then we need to go from 0 to j plus 2. So this needs to go from 0 to how much? This needs to go from 0 to how much? It needs to go from 0 to 6 minus 2, that is 4. We already know that. Okay. So we can say that this would, suppose the given value is 6. The given value is 6 only, like we did in our explanation. The first value would be 0. The next value would be 2. The next value would be 4. Okay. And the next value is equal to 6, which is not less than I. Okay. So if I is equals to 6, this would not be done. 0 to 4. Yes, we have 0 to 4. Now let's try to derive this using this. So to have 4 from 0, what we can do is n minus 2, n minus 2, n minus 2. So n minus 2 is equals to what? 6 minus 2 is equals to 4, and 4 minus this term, 4 minus 0 is equals to 0, and this can be the same thing, n minus 2. So 6 minus 2 is equals to 4. The 4 minus 2 is equals to 2, which is this term. Now again 4 minus 4 is equals to 0, which is this term. We can have this. Okay. Now we can say that I minus 2 minus this value only. Okay. And dp of I plus. Why? dp of this plus dp of this plus dp of this. So 0 to 4 तो हमें मिल जा रहा है. Then we are getting the value 420 by, see, 420 is what? 4 is what? If 4 is related with 6, 4 क्या है? 6 minus 2 is equals to 4. That is why this is I minus 2. अब we need to relate 0 with 4. 0 with 4. फिर है 2 with 2. फिर है 4 with 0. So 4 minus 0 is equals to 4. 4 minus 2 is equals to 2. 4 minus 4 is equals to 0. So we have this value. इतना तो value हमें मिल चुका है. We know that this. That is why we can say that for dp of I, this is the value. At the end, we are just returning the dp of n, and this would give you an AC. Okay. So if possible, do provide the brute force or the less optimized solution even we don't get an explanation. Please, even if we don't get an explanation, what do you mean by this? Can you just tell me? What is memset? It is a part of a dynamic programming. No. Memset कुछ dynamic programming नहीं है. Memset is just a function in just a given thing in C++ where it sets all the value to the initial 0. Okay? और इसमें कुछ खास dynamic programming use भी नहीं हो रहा. अगर इसमें मैं dp के जरा कुछ और लिख देता, you won't be able to detect. Okay? So that is what. And memset, suppose there is a given array, but if we just declare an array, then the initial values can be a garbage value, cannot be a garbage value. It depends upon the compiler. So to be on the safer side, as we are not editing the values rather than we are just adding the values, what we are doing is we are making everything at 0 initially. Okay, everything at 0 initially. Initially सबका value 0 कर दिया. This is just a thing. Now tell me if everything of this is clear or not. Thanks a lot, Sanjay. So this is line number 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, this is 7, and this is 8. Now tell me at which line you are not able to understand, and I would be more than happy to explain you again. And let's have an upper bound to this waiting, as I always do, and this is equal to countdown of 1 minute. Okay, I would be waiting for 1 minute, and let me know if you have understood this or not. Thanks a lot, Sanjeev. What about Bhargav Reddy? Please provide the recursive approach too. Recursive approach is nothing but dp of I added to dp of j plus I plus 2 plus j. Okay, this is just a iterative solution. If you want a recursive one, just go to the bulb button after your submit code, and you would be able to see it. Okay, what about Bhargav Reddy? What about Tanujan? Are you able to understand? Just let me know quickly. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you and have a brief explanation, please. Okay, जल्दी से बता देता हूँ. So, brief explanation. Suppose the number of people are 4. So we can have this 1, 2, 3 and 4. So one will handshake with 2 and 3 would handshake with 4. And same ways the other way is that 1 will handshake with 4, 2 and will handshake with 3. This is why the answer to this is 2 itself. Now for the value 6, what can be the way is that suppose 4 is doing a handshake with 3, then so we concluded that for 2, suppose there is only 2%, then they can do a handshake like this. Okay, so there is only one way. And if there are 4%, the number of handshakes are 2 itself. So now we would just use this pre-computed values. Okay, so for if there are 6 people and 3 wants to do a handshake with 4, then we have remaining 4 people. So we can say that this is 2, so there would be 2. The answer to this would be 2. Now suppose if 4 wants to do a handshake with 5, then the remaining would be again 4. So the number of people doing handshake would be again 2. Now if 1 wants to do a handshake with 4, then this side 2, this side 2. So for 2 we already know that there is only one way. So this way multiplied by that way. This way multiplied by that way would make it 5, and for 6 the value would be 5. And after this you were present in the stream, so I don't think there is any point in explaining. But if you want, just go through the stream again. Okay, and if you face any difficulty, okay, and you are not able to resolve it by yourself and you don't have any external help, just text me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn username is Siddharth Hazra, and I would be more than happy to explain you again. Okay, I don't have any issue. That's it for today. Thank you and have a nice